Now, Uganda has taken Kenya to court as it seeks to change its fuel importation system and access the Kenya Pipeline Company's system for transportation of the commodity. Uganda has moved to the East African Court of Justice seeking to compel Kenya to allow it to import fuel under its new system, which designates Uganda's national oil company, or Unoc, as a sole importer of refined petroleum products, breaking a previous arrangement where Kenya's oil marketers sold fuel to Uganda's oil marketers. Now, in a suit filed in December 2023, Uganda has also taken exception to a high court decision temporarily blocking the granting of a license to Unoc by EPRA. Brenda Wanga with the details.
The tussle between Kenya and Uganda over the importation of Uganda's petroleum products has moved to the East African Court of Justice corridors. Uganda is suing Kenya over her refusal to allow it to use the Kenya Pipeline Company infrastructure to move its refined petroleum products from Mombasa port to Uganda under a new arrangement as directed by Uganda's cabinet.
Honorable members.
In the suit, Uganda accuses Kenya of denying its entity, the Uganda National Oil Company, the rights to operate as an oil marketing company, OMC, in Kenya. Uganda, through the Unoc, had sought to move fuel products through Kenya Pipeline, but was directed to register as an oil marketer by Kenya. Oil marketer in Kenya by the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, a move that would allow Unoc to import and export petroleum products through Kenya and use the country's pipeline to do so. EPRA had asked Unoc to fulfill a number of requirements, including business registration certificates, identification documents for all directors, work permits, tax compliance certificates, proof of financial capability, including proof of sales of volumes of 6.6 million litres of super petrol, gas oil, or A1 jet oil or kerosene in Kenya, evidence of operating 5 licensed retail stations and operating a licensed depot with a turnover of $10 million over the last 3 years. Unoc could not provide all the required documents and found some of the requirements a burden, arguing that it was a fully state-owned company in Uganda that only sought to transport products through Kenya and had no intention of doing business in Kenya. It sought exemption, which Kenya said it would consider at cabinet level. A case filed at the Machakos High Court on the 7th of November 2023 that listed Royani Energy Limited as the first petitioner, Charles Kombo the second petitioner, John Kinuthia Mwangi and Acacia Ridge Construction as third petitioner against the Energy Cabinet Secretary, the Attorney General, the Director General of EPRA and Unoc, sought to stop the granting of exemptions, with Justice Francis Rayola Olel granting conservatory orders against any such exemption for Uganda's National Oil Company, Unoc. Uganda, in its suits at the East African Court of Justice, holds Kenya's government responsible for this delay in granting exemptions. Uganda is seeking to have the licensing protocols imposed by EPRA on the Unoc declared irrelevant, irrational and illegal. Uganda, in the court documents, also accuses Kenya of going against the treaty for the establishment of the East African Community by restraining EPRA from issuing the OMC license to Uganda. It further wants the court to declare that the landlocked country does not require a license from EPRA to access the Kenya Pipeline Company's systems and transport petrol from Mombasa to Uganda, and finally, it wants Kenya to unconditionally accord Unoc, a service supplier of the Republic of Uganda, commercial terms for the use of the Kenya pipeline, no less favorable than it accords to other suppliers. And it also wants a permanent injunction issued against Kenya from imposing unrealistic restrictions to Unoc accessing the KPC. Uganda currently imports 90% of our refined petroleum products through the port of Mombasa and transports them to Uganda through the Kenya state-owned pipeline company, KPC. Uganda's petroleum product supply has been handled by the oil marketing company, OMCs, and through the government-to-government arrangements between Kenya and foreign governments adopted in early 2023 by Kenya, meaning that the OMCs operating in Kenya import petroleum products and in turn sell the same to Uganda's OMCs. Uganda argues that the complete reliance and dependency on Kenyan OMCs to import and supply petrol products to Uganda has exposed it to supply vulnerabilities, resulting in avoiding unavoidable increases in fuel pump prices, hence the decision by Uganda to import directly through Unoc. But as Uganda waits for the case it has filed at the EAC to be heard and determined, it is expected to cease buying fuel from Kenyan OMCs after it entered into a 5-year contract with an Arab company that will now supply its entire fuel needs. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.